Let's begin now the next minor. I sent you that clip. That's from this Rabbi. Based Tmuz. It's quite unusual. See the Rebbe's humor. The person he's talking to. Do you remember Zalmanov? Zalmanov?
His father?
Yes, uncle. He was the one that Shmuel Zalmanov that made all the Mechayic records. He sang on them and he organized them. I was asking him to give a sample and to announce that all the troubles he had. This one isn't happy, like in every business or every public venture. It's more like a public venture. Okay, Hibit of Bia'kov ra amal b'Yisrael. This is the hemshech to the previous minors we'll see, which is very beautiful. So Bilam says that Hashem doesn't see this. It's too Taichin, but the Taichin means here is the Eivishter. Rashi brings to Pirushim. He doesn't see iniquity in Yaakov, and does not see Omal. Now, Omal means literally toil. Yisrael. Rashi says, what's the connection? It means an Aveda, also means sin. But it's a level. It's obviously a more subtle level of sin. Why is the word Omal? Toil used? So Rashi brings a pasuk there. That illustrates the point that we're kind of troubling God when we sin over something that on one level should not be. In the end, it should be. But on the external level, don't go there. It's got to be cleaned up. So it's trouble. It's bothersome. It's troublesome. But it means Yinem Aveda. But the point being, as the Maimon will explain, there's four inyanim here. There's Yaakov, there's Yisrael. The association with Yaakov is Oven, which is outright iniquity, transgression. The association with Yisrael is this more elusive Amal. It's continuing. In the Achiluk, the Yaakov and Yisrael and Mudigesh, that this distinction between Yaakov and Yisrael, although obviously referring to Yidden, is underscored b'chol nevuos lepashas Bilam, Balak or Bilam, and all of the nevuos in this parsha. Now it's called Balak, but the Rebbe adds Bilam. By that he means that sometimes it's referred to as Parshas Bilam. Actually, not often, but the Rambam does. After Parshas Bilam, it talks there about how Mashiach is mentioned in Teresh B'Ksav, in Nevi'im, it's full. In Teresh B'Ksav also, he said the Parshas Bilam. For some reason, everyone wants to refer to the Parsha not just as Balak, but also as Bilam. According to the h'tshek, Bilam wanted a curse, and Balak even hated it even more, but Bilam hated it even more than Balak. It's all transferred. At any rate, so all the nevuos in Parshas Balak, Bilam, shenisadru b'klolos b'chamisha psukim, which are laid out, all the nevuos are laid out in 5 psukim. And in all of them, we're going to note, there's this Yisrael and Yaakov. That's the summation we're going to see. It never traces it through now for us. Because there's different stages in Avodah we're going to see. Heichel, starting Apostle by Mesaper Bilam, Asiba, Shekorula. Starting with the pasuk where Bilam relates in his parable the whole reason that he was summoned, he was called, and he says, "Min Aram yadcheni Balak." Balak led me from Aram and said to me, "Lachara orali Yaakov, go and curse Yaakov, Lachar zayam ba'Yisrael and invoke." Zayam means fury, anger, and go and invoke anger against the Yidden. Huh? No, Zam is fury. Zam. Haggadah, no, the 5 expressions there, the plagues. Shemboide al-mayim du-matzav ha'olam kefishu b'tchila sabrei. So this pasuk describes the matzav of the world before the Yid Zavaida, in brackets. Kreidim shepeil in birani tuta. So you see the hemshech to the previous minor, time, Shabbos, weekdays, beautiful. Just not the first couple of voices, but receive it. So this is the matzah before the world is elevated. Sha'oz, the matzah There, the sparks of holiness are in a state of the man, the nofel midarge ikremis, one who falls from his level is called death. So these nitzutz, it's a quote from the Torah, based on the Zohar, it seems, in h'tשכ, where the lashon there is not quite the same. At any rate, this is again, that's I think the first place where this is found. It's in h'tשכ, this idea that in tzutzei kedusha that are embedded in the world, they're dead because they do not feel the world, the place where they are, doesn't feel the source, disconnected. So that's the matzah of the world before. Already in the pre-Avodah state, the pre-Avodah seberurim, the pasuk already indicates that already there, the distinction between Yaakov and Yisrael to be explained. Then the next pasuk, in the very first nevuah, so Bilam describes the result of Balak's words, come and curse them, and Zayim, direct fury against them. What's the result? It's not quoting from the pasuk, but it is the Indian. This is a pasuk from Pashas Kiseitze. Hashem transforms it all into bracha. And what's the bracha? Now the next nevuah, he says, Bilam, again Yaakov and Yisrael, Mimona afar Yaakov, who can count the dust of Yaakov, the various Pirushim of Rashi, the children, or the mitzvahs they do with the earth, or Mispar, as a Roiva Yisrael can count. Roiva means two Pirushim of Rashi there again, a quarter, as in they were camped in quarters, so even 1/4 of the Jewish people, one encampment. And the Roiva also means to impregnate. That Hashem watches and waits for the conception of a tzaddik. At any rate, Shekoi, so this already is the avodah we do with the offer and the Reiva Yisrael. Shekoi ariba nitzutzi shemizbarim adevidosim shalisol. This is the many who can count. The many sparks of kedusha that didn't elevate through the avodah. And in more detail in this pasuk, Vatshagoyim with Darga Madrega Revi is the word Reiva means 4. Now, third Pirush, Al Pi Kabbalah, the 4th level, Reiva Yisrael, Elam Atzilus in general. The Mevara, the Tzutzik Dusha that fell into Biyah and was beiked into Elam Hazeh. And then we reach the Reiva Yisrael, Remamshech Elam Atzilus. Is there, yeah, we're clear? That's in the Kudi speaks in the Kudi Torah. In brackets, and this is also an empowerment for this whole process of Avodas HaBerurim. How's an empowerment? Knowing the virtue that will achieve, reaching a level of Reiva Yisrael, so this knowing that the toil and the effort is all yields this incredible and wonderful result, so that's in the Sinas Koyach. So it's not just the goal and objective, but it's also in the Sinas Koyach. But not bad, but the garment also being in Zeh, Yesh Tachili Ben Yaakov Yisrael. Here too, there's offer Yaakov and Reiva Yisrael. Again, the distinction between Yaakov and Yisrael. And then he continues in the next pasuk, which our mind began. So now we get the previous pasuk was the goal of the avodah, right? And in the Sinas Koyach, the union of Reiva Yisrael, the 4th darga. The next pasuk we're told the way of the avodah, the nature of the avodah. And what is that? That's how our mind began. The Hibit oven Bi'Yakov Yisrael. There's the avodah of seeing iniquity in Yaakov and not seeing, as it were, Amal, literally toil in Yisrael. What is this? There is the avodah that itself, without the hibit, so without this not looking, that it's shaykh by initial oven, it's shaykh oven. The nature of the avodah is that the shaykh, that there should be transgression. The pasuk is saying that lo hibit, but it could happen. And therefore, this avodah, we need this bracha to forewarn, to negate that there shouldn't be oven. But that's the place where we're at. So that's one level. But then there's a high, that's Madrega of Yaakov. Then there's a higher avodah of Gam Lachar. It's all to be explained. We're getting the outline now. The man will explain it. Of Gam Lachar, oven. And even after the person has transcended this test, if you like, or this pitfall of oven, of actual iniquity of transgression, yesh adayin yina omel. There is a more subtle challenge, which is described as omel, toil. And then lahibit, even that. And then there's the avodah, is not even this toil to be explained. We're following just the outline, yes? Yeah, it's clear. And then the psukim continue, the nevuahs continue. Through successfully negotiating, achieving the levels of no oven and no amal. No oven for Yaakov and no amal for Yisrael. What's the result? Again, Yaakov and Yisrael. Oil associated with Yaakov and Mishkan with Yisrael. Tent with Yaakov and dwelling place with Yisrael. In these words, as we will see, all of Torah mitzvahs is conveyed in the general sense. Even in this praise is included, as we will see, tshuva, which is a preparation for avodah, as we did the previous maamer. The person should begin davening yalam b'teichkei v'drosh. That's a basic tshuva. And here, Kalash and Chazal, tshuva ma'asim tovim. The tshuva precedes the ma'asim tovim. So this is all an overall concluding. This is the whole avodah in Golus. All outlined in these psukim, the pre-matzav of the world, where we're going, the oifen ha'avodah, the details of the avodah, the result of the avodah, the Matei V'lech Yaakov is really the details of the avodah, and then this is all golus till ad la'is ketz, until the time when when we'll finish the avodah, the spirit of impurity Hashem will remove from the world, and then his final prophecy, the fifth pasuk, and then will be fulfilled that which he says, a star will shoot forth from Yaakov, a kamshevet Yisrael, and a scepter, a rod, a leader from Yisrael. Again, Yaakov and Yisrael. And he concludes, Yisrael Yidnu will perform valiantly, literally. Then in a revealed way will be the rule of Yidden. That Yidden will perform valiantly. The whole world will be guided, led by Yidden, inspired by Yidden. Here too, he mentions the distinction throughout of Koichav, Yaakov, a star comes from Yaakov, and a shevet Yisrael, a scepter or a staff, the idea of leadership from Yisrael. All right, so that's the outline of where we're going. All of a sudden, question?
Yes. Sure. That's why should like keep it the masculine. then go through all these psukim, and that's the third one out of five.
I don't know. I think we'll see at the end of the line. We'll see whether that's the focus. Yeah, I don't know. In Pashtus, that's our world, right? Now we're struggling with Oven and Omar, so that's what he wants to deal with. That's the reality we're dealing with, which he begins now to explain. Let's have a look. He explains at length in Likutei Torah that Peter's Hibit Oven Bi'Yakov Ne'Ram B'Yisrael, explaining our pasuk Tam She'Bi'Yakov She'La Kosev Rakina Oven. The reason when it comes to Yaakov, the pasuk negates only Oven, Hibit Oven Bi'Yakov, but leaving place for this Omar. So if we're at the level of Yaakov, we'll have to contend with Omar. But of Israel, but the level of Avodah conveyed by the union of Israel, Sheil Gamina Omar, there's not even any toil. Explains the Alter Rebbe as follows. So the lower level of Avodah, which is conveyed by the word Yaakov. Av the Yaakov, my servant Yaakov, and also, of course, Yaakov is Akev, the heel, right? Yud Akev. So on that level of an Eved, of a servant, there's room to be afraid, of sin. Because it doesn't do Avodah alone. But Hashem, his God, is with him. So he has the assurance that even though there is the fear of Oven, but Hashem doesn't look there. In other words, he is protected. To be explained in further detail, but what he got already now is that Yaakov is Avodah of Eved, and the Avodah of Eved is Shaykh transgression. And there, Lo Hibit Oven Yaakov. But when a Yid serves the Eibush on the level of Yisrael, which means, of course, the opposite of Yaakov, it is lead rush ahead, as a Yochel Yisakin Omar. He's not shaykh to transgression. What is he shaykh to? What's the challenge there? This idea of Omar of toil. And here there comes the Eibush's assistance, the Shleira Omar B'Yisrael. That even there, where he's shaykh, he is protected, as it were. So what are these two avodas of Yaakov and Yisrael? This is in general difference between the Yid on the weekday and the Yid on Shabbos. So you see the hemshech to the previous mind. During the week, we have to be afraid of outright transgression. The Oven refers to this word, which is Echad Hashem Mishakar Lechazal. It's one of the names, in fact. I didn't look up the Zohar, but in the Zohar, one of the names by which our physical world is referred to is Oven. Yeah? Speak up. Yeah. Yeah, the opposite. So, yeah. Klippa, the opposite of Kedusha, is called Oven. Yeah, thank you. Because if the Yid is on the level of Eved, he's not at a state where that he has an understanding and appreciation. He doesn't. It's just Kabbalah Soyer. Only because of the fear of the master. Does he carry out the pekudas, the instructions and the commandments of the master? Therefore, he's uninspired. And therefore, there's room. He can be grasped literally. Sin can take hold of him. That sin can have control and mastery over him. And not simply in a way where the Yetzirah gives its opinion, as a judge gives its opinion. More than that, not just an opinion, but he succumbs to the Yetzirah. That's the avoid of the Eved. The Eved can succumb to the Yetzirah. It's a constant struggle of Kabbalah Soyer. And about this, the pasuk is saying, "Lo Hibit." Hashem is with him. Shakadosh Baruch Hu Oizroi, as the Gemara says, now he's in Tanya. If Hashem wouldn't help, then we wouldn't be able to overcome the Yetzer Hara. Moishe mishayftin nafshay, to save him, as pasuk in Tehillim brought there in Tanya, from the judges of his soul. Who are the judges? The Yetzer Torah gives its opinion. The Yetzer Hara gives its opinion. It's a deadlock. Now, how is he going to be able to? And the reality is that the Yetzer Hara has got a much better argument because the pleasures of the world are right in front of him, and here and now. And the Yetzer Torah is telling him about things he can't see and touch. So who's going to win? So the Eibishter helps to save him from the judges of his soul. Again, that's the Yetzer Hara. Shalachein, therefore, that's what the pasuk means. Lo hibit oven Bi'Yakov. He's holding by the madrega of Yaakov, but he has Hashem's assurance if he engages in the avodah that he will not succumb to sin. But he could, because that's the avodah of the weekday. Because he's engaged in the world. Okay, we're going to stop here because there's a bit of an arichas of the story, which is also a limud. And tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem, we'll learn about the avodah of Amal B'Yisrael.
Sounds very theoretical. They're talking about the lowest level thing, where the shayat thing, you're not going to bear it. For that, for lower than that. It's not reference.
He has the Maimon is the beginning, I'm sure he will. But the basic answer is that it's not a guarantee, only if you give your utmost. If you give your utmost, Hashem will help you. But it's not otherwise, no, yeah, it's shaykh of it. Person's in despair, he can't, he wishes to help me, he does. But he's got to call out for that and really push himself to the limit.